Good morning, it's Jonathan Barrett with the War Report, the Week Ahead Report. This is the report where we talk about the up-and-coming week, the economic numbers, and also the trends. The trends developed last week. It's still not going to continue this week. The Week Ahead Report is purely designed to get you into the mode for trading this week and get you updated with all the relevant information. Before we do that, let's just have Before we do that, let's have a bit of a recap. And let's have a little bit of recap as to the trading week yesterday, as to Friday's closing. Okay, let's get that up there. And there we go. Okay, I guess the most important thing there is with the Dow. The Dow closed up 47 points. The S&P was up 3.3. The Nasdaq was up 2. Over to Europe, the FTSE top 50 was up, the Euro Stoxx 50 to top 50 was up 5.92. FTSE was up 1.7 and the CAC was up 2.02. The DAX was up 39. Local market close to home had a really good strong low as well, which is quite good. On the futures, the market closed up 32 points, 4,840. Which wasn't too bad in itself. A little bit more closer to home, let's have a look at some of those key commodities, see how they've actually traded out. I guess the most important one there has been gold. Gold had a really good performance on Friday night, putting on another $30-odd. And as you can see, this is a mediocre rise here. It's very hard to say whether there's a high or what, but you've really got to start to think somewhere along the line that it's going to have a pullback. I guess one of the key things for that pullback is when is it going to occur. Can't do much yet with it at the moment. But one thing to note is that if silver breaks through $50 an ounce, and there you can see they're spending quite a bit of time, if it breaks through that area, then that sets a different dimension, I think, because the market is very long and they're playing catch-up. And you can see that via the gold and silver ratio, because silver hasn't broke to new highs, yet gold has. So that goes in line with our feeling of being long gold, short silver. Okay, looking at some of the other key commodities, and oil, very frustrating to trade at the moment, 14.04, just keeps edging higher, but we're on the other side of that, copper continues to edge lower, and as you can see there, really quite a precarious point there, if it does take out this low here, which is around that 410, but I find it very difficult to move on ahead. Okay, having a look at the dollar index. Dollar index, as you can see, it's bumping around on the lower end here. I guess the expectation is if you get a little bit more data, you can really see where the low is, and I think if anything, the low for the dollar index, let's just see if it grabs it up, is around about that 70 area. As you can see, they're the lows, and we can't head into that territory. So I would not be surprised to see it start to head down. One thing of note, and I think this is interesting, is obviously the strict correlation between the dollar and commodities, and you can really see that when you just look at sort of adding another instrument to the dollar index. And if I add crude, there we go, you can get a sense of feeling that at the moment their movements in a lot of these markets are just purely dollar related, and you can see here, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's what it is. Effectively, we're just trading the dollar when I trade a lot of these commodities. Well, there are different mixes of it, but at the moment the mix is pretty high, particularly for that dollar yen, that if things still remain like that, then the dollar index is one that will move and shake. Okay, that's the dollar index there. Looking at the Aussie, and the Aussie continues to go from strength to strength, 109.89, still looking up there in terms of what it wants to do. The key for us is whether or not she's going to have a bit of a turnaround. Very hard to say either way as to what's happening on that, but I guess my feelings and expectations are that that it will have a correction, and that not at the moment, but that correction will come around. And I think that the key here is that the US are going all out to try and move and shake the market, and one of the only key areas I feel that they can do that with is in allowing the dollar to appreciate, because allowing the dollar to appreciate puts a head on these rising commodity prices and also helps to look to control some form of inflationary expectations. So in my mind, that's a little bit of a key there on what's happening there in the Aussie. Okay, looking at the local markets, 48.38, a little bit of a bounce, lower end of the range. As you can see from this chart, I probably expect it to actually start to trade to the top side a little bit, so I'll be a little bit encouraged by that, and probably like to think that it would actually continue. In fact, I'm just checking that close for gold, because it looks like she's opened up $12. Anyway, let's see what's happening there. But still looking a little bit quite aggressive. Okay, as we normally do with the week ahead report, let's get into some of the numbers we're due out this week. And I guess this week's going to be quite interesting. There's a lot of data, and the most important data is on Friday, where we have the non-farm payrolls in the States. And I think it would be really nice to see a bit of moving and shaking in terms of that number there. Let's try and move off 8.8%. Let's try and see payrolls above 200,000 for the month, and I think that would suggest that things are looking just a little bit better than bid. Okay, Monday in Oz, we've got TD Securities and inflation, house price index, all pretty important. PMI out of the Eurozone, construction spending, and ISM out of the US, pretty important. Tuesday night, or Tuesday's trading in Australia, RBA cash target, 4.75%, still the same. Just keep an eye on that, because I think we might actually get into some hawkish style of trade or talk from the RBA, but not at the moment. Remember, they're the first ones to pull the trigger, so we'll have to see what happens there. In the States, factory orders, domestic vehicle sales and total sales, all pretty good there. Having a look at Wednesday, HIA new home sales, pretty important. PMI construction in the UK and Eurozone retail sales. In the States, mortgage, MBA mortgage applications, job cuts, and ISM non-manufacturing. And got some unemployment data in New Zealand. Thursday, this will be a Thursday, will be a precursor. Before that, we've got Australia, we've got building approvals, retail sales, etc. PMI in the UK. Bank of England on rates, they'll stay the same, 0.5%. Eurozone will stay the same at 1.25%. In the States, we've got initial jobless claims, continuing claims, etc. Let's see how that unfolds, because that will be the precursor for what happens on Monday. And I think that, to me, is the big one. Not Monday, on Friday, with the unemployment rate in the States. And there you go, changing non-farm payrolls. Like to see it more over 200,000. And I'd also like to see that unemployment rate, excuse me, come back off that 8.8%. Let's see what happens. Well, that's pretty much about it for the week ahead report. In terms of the current themes we've got, and I think short copper, still short oil. Natural gas continues to rally. We've had a very strong run there in natural gas. The boys issued a warrant on that last week. That seems to be going great guns at the moment. And I guess that's pretty much about it from me. But that's the trend. We're going to stick with it. And we'll talk to you later. Have a great week. And that's it from me. Bye for now.